Hello, I'm Carl and welcome once again to Carl the Wordsmith YouTube channel. Today, after what is a very long time, we finally turn our hearts, ears towards a piece that arrives not merely as a song, but as a reckoning, or so I'm told. And this is Hope by NF. So if you end up enjoying these thoughtful reactions, lyrical insights, and a deeper exploration of the music, I'd be truly delighted if you would like, comment, share, and subscribe. Please do subscribe. I am on the hunt to 100,000 subscribers, so please, that would help a lot. Your support helps this little corner of YouTube continue to grow into a haven for music lovers, thinkers, and kindred spirits alike. And if you'd like to support the channel even further, you can do so via Patreon, PayPal, Super Thanks, or by becoming a YouTube channel member. All of the links for those are in the description below. Alright, so without further ado, let's dive straight into it, shall we? Okay, so NF Hope. This has been very highly requested, so I'm very keen. Already into it.
Yeah, I'm on my way, I'm coming.
Ah, interesting.
Don't lose faith in me.
Sinister sound effects in the
I
background.
know you've been waiting. I know you've been praying for my soul.
Monologue.
Oh,
Ooh.
oh. 30 years you've been dragging your feet, telling me I'm the reason we're stagnant.
Interesting. Okay.
30 years you've been claiming you're honest and promising progress. Well, where is it at?
Okay.
I don't want you to feel like a failure. I know this hurts,
Oh.
but I gave you your chance to deliver. Now it's my turn.
Huh. Okay. As expected, the lyrics are a banger, but okay, there's a lot of lyrical depth to that, so let me break it down. Okay, so unsurprisingly, the lyrics. It's like a quiet, thunderous soliloquy, a poignant dialogue between the self and the ineffable, between expectation and reality. The opening lines that he uses here, yeah, I'm on my way, I'm coming, don't lose faith in me. And those resonate with the tender, almost tremulous insistence. NF acknowledges the weight of anticipation, the long-held vigils of those who have invested in him. And yet he steps forward with a quiet defiance, urging patience and trust. Now, let me be clear, it is a declaration of emergence, of a soul awakening after seasons of dormancy, imbued with the fragility and grandeur of human striving. Now, the latter verses were a little bit interesting. 30 years you've been dragging your feet. And then he says, now it's my turn. Now, that transforms this intimate appeal into a profound reckoning, a subtle indictment of inertia and unfulfilled promises. And here, NF juxtaposes patience with frustration, reverence with rebellion. The passage becomes both confession and confrontation, and it's a lyrical balancing act of empathy and resolve, as he honors the pain of the past while asserting the inevitability of his own agency. It is meticulous layering of accountability, reflection, and quiet, unassailable hope, which is the journey from shadowed expectation into the clarion light of self-determination. And we as the listeners are here invited not merely to hear, but to inhabit the tension between trust and disappointment, to feel the cathartic surge of stepping into one's own narrative after years of deferred faith. And the reason why I love this, it is music as both mirror and lantern, a reflection illuminating testaments to perseverance, fraught with beautifully human ache of longing and the audacious exhilaration of finally claiming one's turn. Okay, actually drew a little bit more from that first section than I thought I would, so this may end up being a very long video. Folks, please do subscribe if you enjoy deep dives like this. Again, I'm on the hunt to 100,000. Desperately want to get there by the end of the year, if possible. That may be a bit optimistic, but anyway, back to the video.
Chance to deliver. Now it's my turn. Don't get me wrong. Nature had a great run.
Oh, nice effect.
Time to give the people something different.
Interesting.
So without further ado, I
wow.
like to introduce my album.
Okay. What?
Hope. What's my
Okay.
definition of success?
Okay, we're getting into it now.
Listening to what your heart says.
Agreed.
Standing up for what you know is right while everybody else is. Tucking their toe between their legs.
Okay.
What's my definition of success? Creating something no one else can.
Okay, I like that
Being brave
definition.
enough to dream big. Grinding when you're told to just quit. Giving more when you
Okay,
have nothing left.
so I might have to stop a few times because with rap lyric analyses videos that I do, they pack a lot of lyrics into a very short amount of time, and to break it down means that I have to pause often and then go back, look through the lyrics, and then try to interpret them from there. That's generally how this works. So yeah, anyway, here we go. Oh, bloody hell. Okay, so here we have a lyrical chiaroscuro, which is a play of light and shadow that illuminates the inner contours of ambition, artistry, and moral courage. Chiaroscuro, by the way, is one of my favorite words. And the opening lines that he says, "Don't get me wrong, Nate, you've had a great run, but it's time to give the people something different." That sort of speaks with sly self-awareness, a gentle bow to the past while heralding the dawn of reinvention. It is a moment of meta-commentary. He is the performer conversing not only with his audience, but with himself, acknowledging both his legacy and the inevitability of evolution. The repeated invocation of my album, he says it, but in different tones of voice. And it becomes kind of ceremonial, a litany of ownership, a proclamation of agency in a world often eager to define us on another's terms. So for me, as I look at the lyrics, the heart of the verse, the definition of success, as he puts it, unfolds as a philosophical manifesto. Success is neither applause nor accolades, but an intimate alignment with one's inner compass. Pay attention to what he says here. Listening to what your heart says. Standing up for what you know is right while everybody else is tucking their tails. And here he sort of elevates moral courage above conformity, valorizing the quiet heroism of integrity. He celebrates the audacity to create what is singular, to persist against inertia, to labor when exhaustion whispers surrender, and to pour forth even when the well seems dry. These lines are like the hymn to resilience, artistry, and authenticity, an exhortation for both the listener and the artist to pursue a life defined not by imitation, but by the fearless articulation of one's singular vision. And again, for me, I'm really loving this because in essence, it is a rhapsodic meditation on the alchemy of creativity. You're turning struggle, expectation, and fatigue into something luminous, uncompromising, and profoundly human. And the amount of creativity and motivation and self-belief you have to do that is fucking brilliant. Okay, I had to rewind a little bit here so we don't lose vibes. But let's keep it going.
Brave enough to dream big, grinding when you're told to just quit.
Oh.
Living more when you got nothing left. It's a person
Yep.
that'll take a chance on something they were told could never happen.
Who are
It's a
you?
person that can see the bright side through the dark times when there ain't one.
There's a
It's a
darker
people who ain't
archetype
never
that
had
has
nothing, ain't afraid to
emerged.
walk away from. More perfect 'cause they rather do something that they really love and take the pay cut. It's a
Oh,
person that would
true.
never waver or change who they are just to try and gain some credibility so they can feel accepted by a stranger.
Oh,
It's a
wow.
person that
Yep,
can take the
that's
failures in
true.
their life and turn them into
What's with the map?
motivation.
Who is this?
In yourself when no
I
one
have,
else does. It's
I,
amazing what a little bit
I have so many questions. What's the significance of the map? What's with the dark archetype? So I'm guessing the one in white is symbolizing hope. So the one in black would be despair. Yes? No? Maybe? Okay. I'll figure that out in time. So I love the way he just conjures the archetype of the fearless soul. He is a being who defies the shackles of cynicism and conventional expectation. He rapped there, take a chance on something they were told could never happen. And there's an ineffable nobility here because there's a portrait of audacious hope that chooses conviction over comfort, integrity over profit, and passion over mere recognition. And through these words, failure is transformed from an adversary into a tutor. Doubt becomes a crucible, and the quiet act of self-belief becomes nothing short of heroic. And the lyrics, the beauty of the lyrics lies in its paradoxical simplicity. It celebrates those who embrace scarcity without fear, who pursue their single joys even at the expense of worldly gain. And it's people who remain immovable in character amidst the alluring, often hollow applause of strangers. And I love what NF elevates the ordinary human struggle into a near mythic journey, asserting that true courage is the daily unheralded act of aligning one's actions with the soul's deepest convictions. I am so loving this right now because it is in the end a paean to self-faith, resilience, and the exquisite thrill of daring to be authentically oneself, even when the world seems deaf to the song, the anthem that you're singing from your heart. All right, this is extremely interesting. Probably one of the more fun reactions I've done. Anyway, let's keep it going.
motivation. It's believing in yourself when no one else does. It's amazing what a little bit of faith can do. If you don't even believe in you, why would you
did he trick you?
expect anybody else that's around you to? I done did things that I regret. I done said things I can't take
I feel like
back.
he punked you.
Was a lost soul at a crossroad who had no hope, but I changed that. I spent years of my life holding on to things I never should have kept, full of hatred. Years of my life carrying a lot of baggage that I should have walked away from. Years of my life wishing I was someone different, looking for some validation. Years of my
He's
life
really opened out his heart here.
They get it.
Where? It's mansion. He's in the mansion. Oh my gosh, that is freaking brilliant. I got no words. I'm actually tearing up. That was so good. Wow. Oh, that's so... Okay, I have to pause it. Yeah, I'm going to pause it there. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Flippin' hell. I don't know why that hit me so hard. And this moment of the song is a revelation of the human condition rendered in exquisite musical and visual poetry. So let me explain. There's a crucible of confession, redemption, and luminous transformation. The lyrics that he ushers, what a little bit of faith can do if you don't even believe in you. I done did things that I regret, was a lost soul at a crossroads who had no hope, but I changed that. Now, those are a stark, unflinching inventory of past errors, emotional detritus, and the years spent in the shadow of self-doubt. Yet within this litany of personal struggle lies the quiet, almost sacred triumph of self-realization. The recognition that hope, even in its most fragile form, can catalyze profound change. And NF's voice carries both the weight of his history and the gentle assertion that the self is never beyond redemption, never beyond the tender alchemy of growth and repair. The visual I found particularly interesting because, again, the visual storytelling of the music video deepens the poetic resonance created by his lyricism. The dark-dressed archetype of NF, embodying the burdens, the regrets, the heavy mantle of his performer self, pushing the light-dressed archetype into the mansion, is a masterstroke of allegorical cinema. It is the reconciliation of shadow and illumination, the merging of past and potential, an elegant full circle where despair is transformed into artistic and personal illumination. And then I remember reacting to Fleurie with NF, of course, and it was that chorus, ethereal and soaring, functions almost as a celestial witness to this metamorphosis, a delicate thread weaving vulnerability, beauty, and transcendence into a single breathtaking tableau. And that was from Mansion. The performance in this moment it's not just entertainment. It exhorts, it elevates, it allows us, the audience, to feel the profound catharsis of hope realized and darkness now being reconciled. Okay, I gotta admit, the song hit home in a very, very different way, simply because he's singing about the nature of hope, the nature of reality, fighting the inner demons, and that is something I deeply resonate with. And honestly, listening to something like this gives me hope, and it hit me right in the feels. Okay, let's keep it going. I love the fact that we harken back to Mansion. Oh, okay. Some would say having a mental breakdown is a negative thing, which on one hand I agree, but on the other hand it was the push I needed to get help and start the healing process. See, if I didn't ever hit my bottom, would I be the person that I am today? I don't believe so. I'm a perfect example. You'd be right to believe that. Is that an older version of himself? I'm assuming so. Again, back to the reference of 30 years. Fatherhood. Oh. Okay.
Wake up every day and pick my son up, hold him in my arms and let him know he's loved. Standing by the window, questioning if that is ever going to show up. Isn't something he's gonna have to worry about. Don't get it twisted, that was in a shot. Mama, I forgive you, I just don't want him to grow up thinking that he'll never be enough. 30 years of running, 30 years of searching, 30 years of hurting, 30 years of pain, 30 years of fearful, 30 years of anger, 30 years of empty, 30 years of shame, 30 years of broken, 30 years of anguish, 30 years of hopeless, 30 years of hate, 30 years of never, 30 years of maybe, 30 years of later, 30 years of fate, 30 years of hollow, 30 years of sorrow, 30 years of darkness.
Did I imagine that? No, I didn't.
30 years of stagnant, 30 years of change, 30 years of patience, 30 years of suffering, 30 years of torment, 30 years
of
30 years of bitter, 30 years of lonely, 30 years of pushing everyone away. You'll never revolve. I know I can change. We are not enough. We are not the same. You don't have the heart.
Man.
You don't have the strength. You don't have the will. You don't have the faith. You'll never be loved. You'll never be safe. Might as well give up. Not running away. You don't have the guts. You're the one afraid. I'm the one in charge. I'm taking the reins.
You're taking the reins. Yeah, there are songs that entertain, there are songs that move, and then there are those that do both. This is at a different level. I did not think that I would stumble onto one of the best lyrical performances I've ever heard in a very, very long time. I don't really have any words, but let's wrap it up, I guess. So to sum up, I've spent so much time analyzing this already. Hope is a profoundly intimate odyssey, a lyrical tapestry reflecting 30 years of struggle, trauma, and shadowed self-doubt, yet threaded through with the luminous promise of transformation in the form of hope. From the opening lines, again, he frames pain and mental breakdown as not merely trials, but crucibles, essential alchemy that forces confrontation with one's inner demons, catalyzing growth and healing. He mentioned fatherhood somewhere along the line there, and that deepens the introspection, compelling him to break generational cycles of abandonment, to love and affirm his son with a conscious tenderness, as well as to forgive his own mother without bitterness. And that's ensuring that the next generation knows worth and possibility. The repeated evocation of 30 years is at once an elegy for the years spent trapped in stagnation, anger, and shame, and a defiant affirmation of agency. It's a refusal to be cowed by the insidious whispers of defeat. You'll never evolve is met with the resolute claim, I'm taking the reins to end. And then again, visually, the music video magnifies this poetic journey beautifully. NF in white, the embodiment of hope and evolved self, drifts upon a raft toward the shore, and there's a fragile vessel of liberation charted with newfound self-knowledge, while his dark counterpart prowls in black, attempting to mislead and confine him within the mansion of past fears. And within these walls, he confronts caged older versions of himself, each a testament to regret, hesitation, and lost opportunities. There was also a map there. I still don't know what the significance of that is. But yet by the finale, he emerges upon a mountaintop, triumphant and unbound, the weight of decades lifted, symbolizing the hard-won victory over inner turmoil, baggage, and captivity. So all of that to say, hope in its essence is not merely a song, it is an invocation, an exhortation to recognize that even the deepest shadows, courage, self-belief, and perseverance can illuminate a path toward liberation and authentic becoming. It's songs like this that make me realize the remarkability about music that can stand in the aftermath of pain and still dare to speak healing. And if, as ever, offers us honesty without adornment, vulnerability without apology, and a reminder that hope is not always loud or triumphant. Sometimes it is simply the decision to keep going. Well, folks, that's all from me for now. If you enjoyed spending this time with me here on Call the Wordsmith, please do like, comment, share, and subscribe. Again, it truly does help me get to 100,000 subscribers. Please share this video anywhere and everywhere if you can, and assist me in making this channel something that can bring enjoyment to those who are lovers of music. And if you'd like to support this channel more directly, you can do so via Patreon, PayPal, Super Thanks, or buy me a coffee. All of the links are in the description below. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, do be kind, do be gentle, do be respectful to one another, and help each other out when you can. And I'll see you lot in the next video. Take care, everyone. Cheers.